This video is intended to describe both a lightblade wand and lightblade talisman, both named Divine Alchemy. I'll be discussing the compositions of both these constructs in much tandem as possible, for indeed they are actually of a set identically compatible as nature to both have the same crystalline ignition order as well as the same archetypal name designation. So many components of these two constructs will of course be interchangeable for maximum vibrational compound interest, and once again the wand format as well as the talisman format. I'll go ahead and discuss the primary blade band sequences of both these devices of very high yield vibratory nature. But as a preface, joining me today on this crystalline tour will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map. These are auxiliary components that go to both these devices, as well as my ginormous transmutation grounding staff to be a contingency to keep the topic at hand as linear and coherent as possible, because these constructs are very high yield vibratory devices, so keeping coherent linear fashion of the composition is of the essence. So hence this contingency will be joining me as well to keep things as rational and linear as possible in this dissertation. Okay, without further ado, the primary blade bands will be discussed. I will be starting off with the transmutation blade banding, seen here on the talisman, connecting to here, to this lateral band, and to this side banding right here, as well as this lateral band, and covered by the leather are the hand bands of the transmutation ratio going like so, around the main heart or engine of this construct, recirculating right here. And so why I'm discussing that first is a very good contingency to be that of the transmutation ratio, consisting of hematite and smoky quartz, seen here in the exact ignition sequence, going like so. Hematite is a fantastic grounder of all excess energy through the root into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing, as well as smoky quartz doing the same vibratory function stimulation, being a fantastic grounder of negativity into positivity by grounding it through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, aka energetic dialysis by consistent earth tap points to ground the energy. So why they're also triple important in such ambitious high vibratory devices is the capacity to actually take all this intensive energetic momentum and bring the magic into tangibility range by actually taking these ridiculously high vibratory ambitious constructs and grounding it into the earth for tangible gains, as well as a way to, of course, be a safety regulation as well with these ambitious constructs, which I will talk about why right now these are such ambitious vibratory platforms. Okay, so that'd be once again, the transmutation blade band ratio seen right here, which I described as a great mechanism to transmute negativity into positivity by constantly reprocessing with the stimulation of the earth stars into Mother Earth for reprocessing. And the criticality of their function will be notarized right now in tandem with everything else discussed in the primary blade band seen right here. So the reason these guys are called light blades in wand and talisman format is because of the blade banding governing the recirculating of the energy of these excessive high vibratory platforms. So you can think of the current igniting a certain sequence containing and recirculating the perpetual energetic momentum, seen like so, vaguely resembling a figure 8. I say very vaguely because it's not quite a figure 8, but close enough for the purpose of recirculation of energy. So, the primary blade band on both of these guys I'll discuss right now. So right here, starting off on the light blade wand will be clear quartz going up to here, clear quartz going up to here to be a neutral accelerant of the energy before it hits the primary blade band ignition sequence. And starting off side by side, discussing the blade banding, will be phenakite. So phenakite is a highly exotic, very expensive beryl relative, which is basically related to emerald, clear ray stone of great spiritual potency or metaphysical intensity. It's a stone I've utilized quite successfully in the aspects of energetic sensitivity as the quintessential third eye buster. For those who desire to feel subtle frequency energies of crystals, I've been long employing this particular frequency, even in small doses, for a construct to be very powerful for sensitizing the energy body or the nervous system to subtle frequencies of energy. So that's been, of course, well utilized for quite many years now for that purpose. So this is the first rendition I've actually ever used phenakite in bead format seen here and here, which is very, very darn impressive as a subcapacitation agent, igniting in a sequence of a primary light blade band vibratory output sequence. And so phenakite is also, like I said, the quintessential, perhaps top 3 third eye energy busters in the mineral kingdom, as I referred to it fondly, as a tremendous intensive stimulation of the 6th, 7th, and all the non-physical chakras back to the Godhead. But also, phenakite has such a powerful spiritual broadband stimulation that it actually widens the entirety of the chakra column in unison as the quintessential light body activator. So that's very, very impressive as a tremendously high vibratory spiritual broadband intensifier of the entire chakra column as a whole, particularly of high psychic nature, of a dramatic stone of spiritual initiation, essentially, as well as it's also such a high vibratory stone that many people that do not perceive crystal energies actually can touch it and feel the vibration, which also serves as a nice little party favor, much like boldavite, where that it blows people's minds and they get rather enthused by the possibilities of vibratory crystals, like magic. So that's the phenakite, just as part of the blade band. Then both of them, of course, are built in tandem in sequence, going into rutilated quartz, seen right here, to serve as a massive accelerant of the primary blade band. Rutilated quartz is quartz with bands of rutile, a titanium strand that works as a tremendous supercharger of the energy. So it ignites from the phenakite into the rutilated quartz to make a super intensification of that energy, and also a neutral carrier of current into cinnabar. Cinnabar is another very, very potent stone of what I consider quintessential alchemy, of great transformation that stimulates the root chakra and the sacrum, so actually luckily makes a very strong stimulation of the lower energy body scaffolding, which is very, very helpful for actually grounding the magic into tangible range. And it's been well notarized and utilized for magical purposes for millennia, which I will omit to consolidate time in this video because there's already going to be a lot of talking about this exotic composition, so I'll do what I can to negate digressions, which I cannot promise fully, for this is quite the heady construct of great stimulation, so staying on target will be my prerogative. Back to that concept. Cinnabar, like I mentioned, also has this tremendous stimulation to the third eye and the entire light body as a whole. So it is a quintessential light body alchemy stimulant to one's true self, very, very dramatically with tangible aspects of magic. So it can also be considered a quintessential stone of sorcery, to be in past the illusions of solidified reality, to be in the flow state of seeing the aspects of what solidifies energy as our physical reality be very, I guess you could say, more, try to find the proper words here. This is trying to talking about the vast mysteries of the ocean, quite frankly, with both these constructs. So I will do my best, of course, to keep it linear and coherent in the concept of cinnabar, because it is quite vast. Both these constructs are, so that's my little digressions, which I promise I'll do my best to not fall down rabbit holes of rambles that are not relevant. Beg everybody's pardon, whoever made it this far. And so the aspect also of the mercury-based in the cinnabar makes a tremendous stimulation to the entire chakra column, and also increases one's subtle perceptions of clairvoyant capacities, of subtleties of energy, very highlighted, very intensive. So naturally, these two in tandem, both the phenakite and the cinnabar, are very, very dramatically potent and stimulating to the higher mind senses of the awakened light body. Then, to be a nice little contingency to keep things in the more like source range, of course, would be from the cinnabar into the golden healer quartz. Golden healer quartz is the quintessential gold white light high heart stimulant to that of the emanation of source, or the great central stone of creation, which, utilized in a subcapacitation agent, is, I find, to be metaphysically irreplaceable. To have the emanations of direct source energy connection as a subcapacitation as it ignites a sequence for vibrational compound interest is by itself pretty inherently amazing in concept. So then going from the golden healer quartz like so into phenakite again, then golden healer quartz, then the cinnabar, then the golden healer quartz, then the phenakite. Make sure I got that right because I'm obviously getting quite stimulated during this video. Then to rutilated quartz to accelerate into the cinnabar, then have the gold white light source Christ frequency energy into the phenakite and recirculating in both the wand and the talisman like so. So that being said, it's a very ambitious, which I will say at least thrice more times as I am nerding out to myself for this description video to make sure everything's notarized as much as possible. And compatible frequencies of both the talisman and the wand I will discuss right now as much in tandem as possible. So starting off with this blade face of this talisman, which I will probably discuss more in one shot as I discuss more of the complex continuity of the wand, obviously, will be the fulgurite seen right here and right here on this wand. Fulgurite is a tremendous light body stimulant as it is literally the force of lightning striking sand. So that carries the energy of lightning, quite literally, caught in sand, which has now been terminated to a closed loop reactive circuit. That is a tremendous full light body stimulant from top to bottom. Very dramatic, very intense, as well as First Nation utilization by shamans was to intensify their prayers back to spirit. So that Creator would hear their prayers for the people and was a well-utilized spirit tool in First Nation medicine. Then right here, I'll try to, of course, keep it as linear as possible. I beg anybody's pardon during this situation. Would be labradorite, seen right here and here. Labradorite, just like cinnabar, is quite the vast topic to cover, but in essence, it is a powerful feldspar-based stimulant of magic that is also very protective over the auric field and a very powerful third eye activator to quintessentially have higher mind perceptions to see past the veil of 3D reality. Very meta stuff. Then a lovely masculine counterpart to the shadow seen right here, of feldspar based as well, would be sunstone. Sunstone's a very fantastic, beneficent masculine energy of the third and second chakras, of that of quintessential fire or sun energy, very fun masculine vibrations. Then going into Rainbow Moonstone to be the masculine shadow and the feminine. Rainbow Moonstone, another lovely refractive feldspar-based stone, is essentially the feminine of this trio. They're all very much close cousins based on their mineral composition. So Moonstone is a fantastic yin induction of full rainbow light body activation as well. So that would cover the masculine, feminine, and the shadow in that trinity. Then right here is Agni Manatite, which is a very special variety of black tektite that is quite sacred and actually is found here and here on this talisman. So much like a black tektite, makes for a very powerful full light body stimulation from luckily black ray ground up, great potency activation seen here on the wand in multiple places. So it has, of course, more points to intensify the closed loop reactive circuit of this particular frequency, and a dose found right here. And because of course this is not as linear as normal in these description videos, because I'll be jumping around to do my best to make the relevancy between the wand and the talisman as coherent as possible. So right here, for this primary thumb engagement, would be at the base Libyan gold tektite found right here as well. Libyan gold tektite is a quintessential sacrum and solar plexus stimulant that was utilized by pharaohs of old to be a full dramatic intensification of the golden ray, which of course illuminates the entire light body as a whole, and a very powerful manifestation agent of that of basically ancient Egyptian high magic, which is kind of cool to say out loud because that's how it's utilized. Then right here is moldavite, seen here and here on the blade face. Moldavite should not need much introduction for any crystalline enthusiast, due to its extreme notoriety to be a tremendous green ray, heart chakra storm elemental stimulant of great potency that has gotten a bad rap in this day and age due to TikTok videos blaming this stone crystalline frequency for ruining their lives, for indeed it does destroy the false self matrix of not one's high self in connection to source creation. So obviously, that being said, there's many contingencies in these constructs to have the transmutation ratio ground out the excess energy to mitigate the timeline whiplash, etc., etc., etc. But moldavite is a quintessential stone of high synchronicity, and that of connotations of the Holy Grail, heart alignment to one's divine connection. And just like making an omelet, you have to crack a few eggs. So naturally, moldavite dramatically changes one's internal scope so powerfully by the cosmic influence that, of course, it changes one's life very rapidly too, but it's always towards the highest good of one's chosen dharmic path of why indeed they've incarnated here, and not why they think they've incarnated here, which is a subtle difference. And moldavite answers that call with great ferocity and rather quite ruthless in that concept, and that's why, of course, even a small dose with many other crystalline redirectors, buffers, and stabilizers goes a very long way in light tech devices. And right here will be another piece of phenakite and phenakite seen right here. So just like the blade band mentioned here, even the raw dose of phenakite unfaceted in these constructs dramatically intensifies the entire chakra column as a whole and makes a very, very powerful third eye stimulation that's virtually unparalleled in concentration in the Mineral Kingdom, besides a couple other which I won't mention because they're not present here. And yes, that is another heavy dose of exactly that doubling down on that phenakite frequency of ridiculous divine ascension manifest. Of basically solidified higher plane divine light that can be perceived in a crystalline format. It's really ridiculously potent stuff. Then, right here would be another dose of golden healer quartz, seen here and here. Golden healer quartz, like I mentioned on the blade band, is a fantastic gold-white light source emanation, so having another concentration of that particular alignment to the central sun of creation is obviously irreplaceable in the implication, so that's why they're here in heavier doses on the blade face, as well as the main engine of the wand, which I'll describe more in notoriety, because of course once I get this taken care of, I'll be more focused and thorough on this construct with great discipline focus, as much as possible at least, with these very heavy constructs. Anyhow, pardon my digressions. So, then I already mentioned that guy, and then here, of course, is scolecite, seen here and here. Scolecite is a quintessential stone of divinity as well, in a very soothing manner. So it's a very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant, but luckily has a very uplifting, soothing parameter to the higher mind, or the prefrontal lobes of the right and left hemispheres, to bring extreme divine witness self. So scolecite is a fantastic stone to be utilized also for the divine alchemy aspect to bring a nice calming higher mind influence to basically be another contingency to such a very ambitiously high vibratory set to keep one in the divine alchemy perspective in the whole process of the alchemical crucible that will be expedited on these two platforms, which I will just continue on now. And then right here is seraphinite. Seraphinite is a very fantastic, seen here and here. Seraphinite is a very fantastic seraphim-based crystal named after the seraphim archangels, and is an amazing, obviously green ray heart chakra stimulant, but it also works as a full light body activator from the entire chakra column, and a great kundalini stimulant, and just a very fantastic dismantler of dis-ease found stored in any of the chakra column to dismantle and basically get back to factory blueprint settings. So that's one of my top 5 favorite stones to utilize based on its extreme metaphysical versatility and its extreme healing potency in a very soothing way, thank goodness. Seen right there and there. Then right here will be sugilite, and right there sugilite. Sugilite is an incredible, rather rare stone these days that has a fantastic 6th and 7th non-physical chakra activation as well. But sugilite, being a special kind of violet ray stone, has a tremendous crown activation as well as a very powerful psychic shield divine transmutation emanation, which is why it was quite notarized and famous before it basically went out of distribution in this lovely purple shade about 10 years ago, but luckily the providence of the force has a way of smiling on my endeavors and providing me exotic crystals I require for maximum excellence. Just how it goes. I'm very blessed. And I'm blessed to be able to utilize these in these constructs to have a nice divine influx of well. And another fun fact too about sugilite, it's been acclaimed to be a very strong Michael the Archangel stimulant. Next to seraphonite goes a very long way to have that very strong Michaelic induction of that protective force close to source. Say that 5 times fast. And so underneath the hood of this guy is relatively simple, so I'll go ahead and just get straight to it. Okay, so this section right here will eventually have this white leather installed once this video is concluded to have more than just an aesthetic appeal. This will serve as a white ray diffuser of the 7 rays, obviously, as well as the insulation of this energy to condense the focus, as well as to protect the subtle crystals wrapped into here. And I guess last, but it should not be least, also a nice aesthetic completion once it's, of course, wrapped up properly, will look like a finished construct. So that's why that's there, and so is this, which we'll get into eventually. And underneath the hood of this guy is the mighty and aggressive blue and gold Petersite, seen here and here. Also known as the Tempest Stone, it is a cardinal storm energy element that is basically Tiger's Eye's rather aggressive cousin, to put it lightly, in like the mineral composition of the elemental scope right here. So Petersite is a very dramatic, powerful storm elemental stone that has a tremendous 3rd and 6th chakra stimulation that also works to churn all stagnant energies out of the field very dramatically towards one's highest evolution. So it's just like Moldavite and many other frequencies here, it's a swift kick in the pants towards one's dharmic configuration, which I use quite sparingly, but obviously this is one of those construct sets that demand for a rather aggressive vibratory output for the wielder to maximize the utilization, that oftentimes I would not make this very often. It's a very special case, obviously. So that's okay. So from that digression, circling back, that is Petersite, the quintessential Tempest Stone of really intensive transformative magic once again. And then over here are 2 lovely small baby Lemurian clear points underneath this section right here, which are very nice neutral amplifiers, which be conduced to be the hearts, 2 hearts of this construct will be these lovely Lemurian quartz points. And wrapped next to them is a very special component seen here and here. This would be Percelli Bluestone, also known as Stonehenge Stone. This is exactly the quarried stone utilized in Stonehenge, and that's a whole magical fun legend about a location 400 miles away from where Glastonbury Stonehenge is set up, was where exactly this stone was hewn for its piezoelectric properties. So obviously, when you go back in history, to have those megalithic structures, blocks, be hewn and moved 400 miles away before the proper utilization of good roads and whatnot when this came to exist, all that effort was probably for a very good darn reason for the locality of this stone, just to put that out there as a nice little dissertation. So there you have it, which has very powerful magical connotations, obviously, by using the stone utilized for Stonehenge for a very good reason. So that piece of that Glastonbury frequency of the megalithic wonder of the world, Stonehenge, is found here and here. From the quarry, 400 miles away from Stonehenge, and like I mentioned, kind of important, there's a good darn reason why all the effort was made to make the Stonehenge real if it wasn't for the proper crystalline structure for a dimensional gateway. Anyhow, moving on. Me and my whimsical rants. Okay, so at the very top right here would be also a lovely piece of raw morganite, seen here and here. Morganite is actually the pink gray cousin to emerald, which is a very fantastic beryl family, oftentimes 8.5 out of 10, the hardness scale, very powerful, precious, pink gray, high heart segment of divine love. It was a more recent discovery, but I'm pretty confident that much like ruby and sapphire and emerald itself, and peridot for that matter, would be a precious stone of antiquity if it was utilized and discovered more frequently by the ancient nobility and royalty that would utilize crystals for antennae to be their badge of office of the divine made manifest. But anyhow, so Morganite is a very powerful pink ray emanation, which is very nice to have a nice strong dose of pink ray love with all these aggressive high vibratory magic construct before me. And then, okay, I'll discuss this guy, which is a specialty found on the talisman solely of lovely pinkish Nirvana quartz. Nirvana quartz is a very fantastic heart-mind coherence enabler in the mineral kingdom that is very darn amazing, utilized in this construct to, of course, obviously keep the heart-mind coherence intact as much as possible, as these guys will inevitably develop high spiritual Gs in the custody of the wielder. So that's be very, very helpful in that capacity. And I believe actually that would be the talisman almost fully notarized besides the kyanites, the oak, and the selenite. Except for the apex band, seen right here and here. Okay. So eventually this is exactly where the necklace will be affixed right here. And that blade banding consists of clear quartz to be a neutral accelerant into blue sapphire, as well as on this thumb engagement seen right here. Blue sapphire is a quintessential blue ray stone of notoriety and precious utilization of the 5th and 6th chakras of wind elemental composition of the quintessential blue ray stone of royalty, which is a stone of great wisdom and knowing thyself in a very strong way. And the reason why ruby and sapphires are quite precious also, their hardness and the hardness scale that crystals are governed by are oftentimes an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 of hardness, which means that the dense atomical structure of this particular blue ray and red ray oscillation is so dense that it makes such a powerful emanation that's, of course, how they got notarization of being great stones of magic utilized by royalty and are precious stones that literally all humans have just about heard about because they're such important crystals found in the morphic field human consciousness of precious notoriety. Anyhow, blue sapphire into clear quartz. Clear quartz is a neutral accelerant into ruby. Ruby is the quintessential red ray root chakra stimulant of the mineral kingdom, virtually unsurpassed based on its really intensive root chakra stimulation, as well as being a very well praised stone of magic for thousands of years, at least in recorded history, that, of course, derives a lot of faith off humanity's beliefs, even in the subtle subconscious aspects of magic. That's why these precious stones are utilized too, because of their timeless nature and their millennia documentation of millions of utilizers across history. It's very well deeply grooved into human faith belief of 3D reality. Anyhow, gotta stay on target as always. Okay, so oftentimes I save this for last, but I'm trying to do these guys side by side as much as literally possible. So I will discuss the selenites and the kyanites seen here and here, as well as the oak cores. The oak cores, actually quite literally from my buddy right here between these two trees, tip of my pen, that's exactly where these cores come from, my buddy oak right there. So oak is a great carbon-based, obviously, wooden dense atomical grain structure as the core of both these devices, which is very useful to have, of course, a strong wood element as the base of this vibratory set. And I will omit it for I don't ramble on forever about it, but oak is also a very fantastically notarized wood of heroes, gods, kings, and great notoriety legend across the world, and really well, notarized as well as revered for millennia based on its strong wood nature. So that's why the strength is found there in both the cores of these devices, which will, God willing, serve as a great contingency to keep this energy as grounded as possible into practical utilization. So, then there's the selenites seen right here. So selenites, I usually, of course, save for last because they work as a great capstone for the entire construct dissertation. But the selenites by themselves make very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakras, very clean, clearing to the higher Godhead perception, making a two-way connection to the conscious self, which is by itself, in metaphysical endeavors, very, very ridiculously advantageous, obviously. But it also works as a high-frequency stimulant that actually burns through stagnant energies from the entire field, which also makes it a tremendous energetic master healer by itself. But where they always really shine in constructs that I tremendously nerd out about is the aspect of taking all these frequencies yet to be mentioned for this guy, mostly mentioned for this guy. It can take all these frequencies seen here in these constructs in a circuit. It can purify all these emanations. It can, most importantly, harmonize all these emanations, then intensify and accelerate. So when you take the trifecta of all these frequencies in one closed reactive circuit of purification, harmonization, and amplification, that makes for a truly triumphant trifecta of a practical utilization vibratory spirit tool. So that's why I get pretty excited about that part of the videos. But like I said, I'm doing my best to describe them side by side as much as possible, so I'll be jumping around a little bit more. Anyone watching this, please bear with me, and I beg your pardon. Now I'll be discussing the kyanites, which I oftentimes say for last as well as part of the last segment of the selenites. So black kyanite seen here and here. This particular rendition only has the black and blue kyanite to kind of streamline the transfers of the energy, but this has the full spectrum of the four I utilize for a very distinct purpose in one format. But anyhow, black kyanite seen right here is a very, very rapid transferable energy pathway into the earth for reprocessing. So kyanites, before I discuss individual frequency alterations, black kyanite also works as a fantastic surge protector to ground energy very rapidly. And also kyanites, for that matter, are the most rapid transfer energies in the mineral kingdom, just about from one point to another. For example, me and my tree buddy right there, they're very effective for actually bridging the gap between separation to bridge the energy very rapidly, which is, of course, in concept, unified consciousness. So, black kyanite, seen right here, is a very rapid grounder of excess energy into the root very quickly, actually quicker than almost anything in the mineral kingdom, to make a very reactive grounding patch. So as a surge protector, it's very important that the black kyanites can actually take this excess energy and ground it safely through the system into the earth for reprocessing as quick as required by the highest good of the wielder, which is pretty nice. Then down here on this rendition is orange kyanite to be a very powerful sacrum stimulant of the highest capacity. Green kyanite being a very powerful heart chakra stimulant to the basically bridger to the highest capacities. Blue kyanite, seen here and here, is also a very powerful neural pathway third eye stimulant of great notoriety of intensively basically calibrating third eye to operational status. And being able to take this excess energy and make a transference very, very tangible. And so having the aspect of the kyanites also serve as another layer of etheric Teflon to always be auto-buffering the energy from top to bottom in regulation towards one's highest dharmic blueprint in tangible focus in the 3D avatar conscious self. So that's where the kyanites and selenite come into play. And that indeed would be the entirety of the talisman notarized at this point, just making triple sure. Yep, that would be the talisman of divine alchemy, fully notarized, and once, of course, this video is taken care of, it will look just like that, but in a much more aesthetic way. If it will behave itself. Let's see. Okay, that will do for now. As a, future preview. Okay, so this guy has a lot more explaining to do. And I basically, of course, notarized this entire section besides the focalizers seen right here, which I will save for last because now it's time to get to the nitty-gritty of the complex engine, where eventually this white leather will be installed once this video is taken care of, seen like so vaguely, which, like I mentioned with this guy, will serve to be a color therapy resonance, an insulation of the energy to condense the focus, as well as a color therapy, that's the first thing, as well as a way to protect the subtle stones as they live happily ever after the wielder, and D, be the aesthetic completion at the very end to basically install the hood of this high performance device. Then on top of that hood, once that's all notarized and done and installed, will be this lovely badging scene right here, which is quite fabulous because some genius actually took the flower life symbol and embossed the Om over it, which is really, really nice actually. Very impeccable sacred geometric symbol, if I dare say so, with the frequency alignment of the universe with the flower of life. That's quite a triumphant compilation. Anyhow. And why that's relevant too, of course, that plays for a critical prominent badging that will be a symbolism that runs through the entire construct. Obviously on primary ground leads, which will of course will be ground to that guy and ground to this guy to be a functional component of the device. And it has the blade band ratio of what I refer to as the abundance ratio. And at the time of this video, there are 18 renditions in short succession in distribution as I speak right now at the time of this video that have been based on this exact ratio, which has been its own crusade, which I will not discuss much further. But the point is, that particular rendition is found here even in a small dose of such an ambitious platform. Starting off with the clear quartz to be a neutral accelerant into the emerald, the quintessential green ray stone of abundance of precious notoriety, into root-related quartz, to intensify into peridot, the third and fourth chakra stimulant of great notoriety of growth and abundance as well, and basically the crystalline equivalent to the energy of chlorophyll, how all this is possible. Nice growth frequency into clear quartz, then into emerald, then into golden healer quartz to get that gold-white light sourced energy alignment, which would be the abundance ratio in its own circular circuit around the flower life with the ohm and boast, which will be grounded into the structure once this hood's installed. Okay, got that out of the way. Now it's time for the more exotic components of what makes this wand quite sensational as a vibratory device. Here we go. Starting off with this lateral band seen right here is black onyx to take all the excess energy, consolidate it into form to actually bring the excess arcing energy into focus to tangibly wield the magic, which is actually a pretty important contingency. And as a little fun fact, actually, since the Arc Covenant is here, which is working as my paperweight to keep my stick figure down, actually that's why it's there, but it also makes for literally the perfect conceptual paperweight of what I'm talking about. Aaron's breastplate that was worn as an energetic unit containment field when wielding the arc reactor actually had black onyx on both shoulders notarized right there, which I deduce and theorize that it was working to consolidate and redirect and buffer all the excess energy the arc reactor produced, found right here in concept as well, to make all this energy consolidated and channeled properly into the tangible range of black ray earth stimulation. So onyx is the quintessential stone of discipline for that purpose, of taking all excess energy, consolidating, and really bringing a cool head to the whole concept, which will be worth its weight in gold when these guys are being wielded because they're so darn heady. So the black onyx is the ultimate contingency, but I did of course utilize phenakite as a subcapacitation agent, which like I said is the quintessential heady third eye buster, and the ignition sequence goes like so. So the consolidation of the spiritual energy in this lateral band is designed to do that, to of course bring the aspects into focus and form for 3D benefit, essentially. Then found right here, like I mentioned, was the golden healer quartz, but I did not notarize the fact that it actually is carved into an angel, which is a very nice little touch, homage to the angelic realm, found right here in the golden healer quartz, the gold white light sourced emanation. Then I mentioned the agumantite right there, then the morganite, then here's aquamarine. Aquamarine, just like emerald, is a fantastic beryl family, 4th and 5th cardinal water stimulant. Then down here is a lovely Lemurian clear quartz as the main heart of the construct, which is the neutral programmable carrier of all this energy, which is basically the main heart is right there, indeed with this guy right there. Then right here is Prophecy Stone. Prophecy Stone is quite the phenomena found in our modern crystalline availability, based on a rockhound who discovered this and had a massive prophetic vision. There are certain elements of in the periodic table that are not quite quantified in this guy, which means it has unfamiliar extraterrestrial space metal, which is really cool. And the reason it's called Prophecy Stone is because the man had a massive prophetic vision based on a strong, intense stimulation of the 6th, 7th, and non-physical chakras to give him an unexpected prophetic vision. And also it's a semi-hematoid metal-based grounder, which actually grounds the energy through the Earth star. So it's a very powerful, intensive light bite in its own right, but luckily in a metal ray to ground the energy. And, okay, I'll discuss this right here. This is another a well-notarized quintessential stone of magic in this timeline called Mystic Merlinite or Gabbro. The white and black concentration seen right here is believed to be a very powerful high-frequency summation of both the black and the white to be the unified field beyond polarity of negative and positive, which is very indicative of Holy Grail legend, seen right there. Stone of magic. I'm going to keep moving on because this is taking a long time, and I'm trying to speed it up. Then right here is Shiva Lingam. Shiva Lingam is an incredible stone from India that is an amazing full light body Kundalini stimulant and also honors the archetypal resonance of Shiva, which we will just leave it at that as a truly significant, powerful frequency in a circuit. And so Shiva Lingams are very powerful full light body prana stimulants that dramatically intensify one's energy field to a high configuration as another master healer I've utilized for many years. Okay, so this right here is a very special piece of Numite. Numite is quite the special black ray stone that comes from Greenland, from a volcano that's only accessible during the summer months. That is of a pretty much the oldest mineral we know of that could be utilized. That's over 3 billion years old according to science, which has a very intensely primordial earth frequency energy from a earth that's long been transformed into our current reality we reside in, walking around doing our thing with our human avatars, obviously far as we know. And that aspect right there makes for a tremendously powerful draw upon the ancient primordial forces of Earth, and also is considered to be a very powerful quintessential stone of sorcery by grounding this energy so powerfully into the Earth for basically theurgy, quantum matter manipulation. It's very meta stuff and very powerful. And so, of course, with such a heavy sorcery frequency themed construct set, that had to be there, obviously. Then right here is Star Argonite. Star Argonite is a very fantastic master healer I've been utilizing quite frequently for a while now, based on this fantastic energetic facts of how it's a calcium-based full light body stimulant from top to bottom, much like Seraphinite, works very quickly to dismantle any stored patterns that are stagnant that will be impeding a healthy functional light body or auric field continuity, and rapidly dismantles the diseases in tandem, which is very useful for any kind of healing purposes of the wielder of this construct. Then, last but not least, a very special component, even in small size right here, is the smoky celestial quartz. So smoky quartz, like mentioned almost 42 minutes ago at this point, is a fantastic grounder of excess energy through the root for reprocessing of negativity into positivity by transmutation. But the celestial format plays a very, very special role, particularly in lightblade wands at the very least, as being a tremendous autoregulatory frequency buffer. So what that means is that the celestial format has a certain capacity of aligning the frequency pitch of the entire construct, much like a regulator or another layer of contingency, to have the exact right frequency pitch in resonance with the wielder to be in optimal harmony and equilibrium, which is metaphysically very far out, but very darn effective towards the heart of my life's work, which is spirit tools. And so that aspect right there also means that the calibration sequence will also resonate whoever wields this, besides the primary wielder, to auto-calibrate the requirements to the highest good of the wielder. It gets very meta. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. But long story short, once again, is that this crystal works as a regulation frequency to ensure the frequency pitch is at the maximum overture without having too much spiritual G's as much as possible to consistently auto-regulate the frequency pitch at requirement of the highest good of the wielder, even in case situations when she's wielding it for those who are under her jurisdiction, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Well, and one more thing on the thumb engagement I omitted to mention is a lovely piece of faceted clear quartz as well as an authentic real diamond seen right there. So diamond is the quintessential stone of precious, opulent notoriety, royalty, obviously. Everybody's heard of diamonds, and they're still quite in vogue for thousands of years and all that jazz. because they are 10 out of 10 hardness in the hardness scale, and they're carbon based. This guy is a whitish gray, which has a full stimulation of the entire light body with great intensity. So also it's been known as the stone of invincibility and timeless fidelity, obviously. So that kind of royal illumination, even a small dose in a circuit right there, will dramatically intensify the entirety of this emanation. So, of course, at this point, this would be all the subtle crystals mentioned besides the focalizers once again. I almost got it. Right here is titanium aura quartz. Titanium aura quartz is actually pressure-coated titanium on clear quartz from the 80s. This was developed, basically modern man-made alchemy. That is actually quite useful in light tech devices. The titanium on the quartz works as a tremendous full rainbow light body swing from top to bottom, a full light body activator in its own right, but also where it plays an important role is utilizing the titanium bandwidth to solidify and intensify the subtle DNA or the outer emanation of the auric field from weaker stray influences is the prerogative as well. And that's precisely why this strengthening force is used behind the direct focalizer of being clear quartz, seen right here. So the aspect also of this figure eight construct, obviously in a closed loop circuit, is to take this entire frequency, and these quartz points right here are the focalizers. So that's the emanation where it's designed to actually discharge and align energy, for example, my tree buddy right there, to discharge the energy into a broadcast or prayer intention, charged up and discharged. So that's the idea and the mechanism of exactly these guys right here. And of course, they're grounded into the primary wire seen like this to take all the excess figure eight energy, like so, and give it an energetic focus that is in tandem with the consciousness of the wielder, which essentially makes it consciousness-assisted technology in that capacity. And that actually would be it for the entire crystalline composition notarization. Okay, so before I sign off, as a summary, both these constructs as a tandem set are developed to be very intensive, higher frequency stimulants, particularly of the higher energy bodies, but God willing, grounded actually through into a tangible range to make the magic real. And that's precisely also why the black and red leather was utilized. So black, of course, like the transmutation ratio, is a great black ray grounder of energy, which is actually part of the contingency of this vibratory output, as well as the red is an lovely root chakra stimulant in its own right. And then the white combined here will be the quintessential three colors of alchemy in the traditional sense, notarized in these alchemical sets. Except I'll be utilizing just the white for this guy right here on this, so it's more compatible with the engine. Okay, that's just me ranting at that point, so I can move on. And so, yes, back to the summary. These are very, very aggressively high vibratory potent devices going to a very competent wielder of sorcery. She puts the source in sorcery, basically. And that will basically be very effective as a devices of magic, to be quite simple, to just kind of mitigate the Christianese jargon of the constructs of being very high potency magical devices of high alchemy made manifest as much as possible in the tangible range of earthly reality. All right, well, to anyone that actually made it this far in this arduous rant, I wish you 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with you, and have a great day.